Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Conversations in American Democracy. Kurt McCauley flew back from Washington, D.C. after putting a nice 350-foot gash in the bottom surface of the reflecting pool, and he flew in just to provide us with a constitutional minute. So, Kurt McCauley.
Yes, and I'm going to do Article 3, Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted. Attainted?
Or attained.
Pardon me?
Does that mean after someone's dead, we can't try him for treason?
Right.
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, right. you never know. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Well,
Okay,
I thought this was important.
Yeah, are there people in office now who are treasonous?
Oh,
Because it's in time of war. Didn't you say in time of war?
Well, that
And-
only regards
And are we in time?
corruption of blood or
If they
forfeiture.
wage war against the nation.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Like he
says
did
in
on
time of
January
war.
6th?
Yeah.
I think that comes
yeah,
from.
And that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that applies. But I've always thought on a historical note, I think many of the problems in America today was caused because we didn't do that after the Civil War.
Right.
When Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant let them walk without punishment,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of our problems today are still goes back to the Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they'd have been used for an example, I think America would be a different country today.
And I'm
I
guessing
think,
a lot of people know that
Yeah.
Mark Kelly lost his pension this week.
What?
Did he actually lose it? I thought that was
Mark Kelly got his pension taken away because
of the ad.
sedition.
The ad.
Because of that ad that they put out about.
I thought he
the
won
goodness
it.
He
of
won
evil.
that.
Yeah, he won that. I
No,
thought he
that
won
was
the
just
case.
this week.
It was
Yeah.
this week that he won it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they-
yeah.
I don't think that'll hold. on the Supreme
Dude,
Court.
No.
Yeah.
Man, it was,
They were,
it was just this week.
Sedition?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
speaking what's in, what's,
You
don't
don't
have
have
to
to
follow
follow
anything
illegal
illegal.
law.
he did it.
Yeah.
He told them just to
it
follow
won't hold
the
water.
rules
No.
It won't hold
that are
Yeah.
water.
already there.
He
I
might
don't
be.
think that'll hold up.
He might be getting charged with sedition. There is no ground.
The only
That's
way
the whole-
he
yeah.
can lose his pension is to be reinstated into the military, court-martialed.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
That won't
That was-
happen.
that happened this
Even
week.
that, I don't think the
It says
intent
the
is
judge
really,
blocked it.
the intent is to cause him the legal problems and costs.
And the-
That is the punishment,
Yeah.
that's the Trump punishment
The
to his
process.
enemies.
The process.
He wants you to go through the process.
Every
Okay.
pundit has said that is their process. They don't care about the outcome of
Right,
the trial because they already know whatever they're going after, they're not going to win. But the cost and the agony
Right,
is what they're trying
that's
to
what they
drive
wanna
into
do,
people.
that's what they wanna do.
Mark,
Yeah.
Hegseth said that because he's a sitting senator, he couldn't touch his money there, but he could go after his pension
Military pension.
with the
Well,
Navy.
he
I
can
don't
go
know how
after,
you
but
can
he
do
can't
it.
get it.
Yeah.
Even as a reserve, he's not active.
Yeah.
They, like he said, you'd have to bring him back to
Right.
active duty, then make a
You'd have to-
article charge against him. Then he'd have to go before a court-martial board, and then he would even still be getting defended, but provided a defense in the court-martial. They have no way to do that.
There's no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, update.
Mark Kelly has not lost his pension, but they're progressing to downgrade him, so it's decreased a amount.
Oh,
Okay.
gee,
To
there's
demote
worse
him.
than
they're
that.
trying to demote him.
Demote him. Okay. That's
So
a.
that-
like
But
that.
to demote
he's
him,
gonna
they
lessen
still
it.
have to go through the same process.
I don't
They
understand.
can't
should.
reduce
Well-
him in grade without court-martialing.
Right,
Right.
how can they do that to someone who has a rank because they earned it over those years?
They
and
have-
they've
Oh, you
done
can-
their
they can-
job
you can-
perfectly.
I
That-
just heard on the news this morning that Hegseth fired another 4-star general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Of
Donahue.
color?
yeah.
or woman?
No, it's white.
By the way, that was my question.
all of
Oh, Mike Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He ran out of the other one.
He got rid of all the black women.
Drank them up already.
If he's a white man, then he's probably liberal.
Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
what.
Yeah.
Remember the 25
What
Which is-
religious faith was he following?
Which liberal means socialist means communist.
No, wait a
means,
minute. What faith was he?
He was a 4-star general.
What was his faith?
What's his
Huh?
religious faith?
What is religion?
Oh, I don't know.
Because you know, he removed
He was the
certain
commander
religions.
in chief of Europe and North Africa.
Oh my gosh, we need those people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with that's
Okay,
what,
we can just do like we did it.
Oh, and they're gonna downgrade the
Yeah.
position to a 3-star.
through it.
Holy cow.
But I think the biggest takeaway is what Dave said. We've sat here for years listening to words that followed with very little action and a lot of court
The
Yeah.
process,
reaction.
the process is the punishment.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Process is the
whether it follows through, which I was just hearing the other day, like 98% of the efforts that the Justice Department has gone after and tried to do failed.
Fail.
There was a decision from a federal court yesterday stating that ICE has no authority and is not allowed from here to the future of interacting, affecting, or stepping foot into any courtroom during a immigration process.
Yes.
Thank you.
That it sends the wrong message of our respect to the judicials.
Yeah.
Now,
And-
the next court that hears it at the next level may change it.
And
So-
there was
From
a
a legal point of view, I don't know if anybody can answer this, but the DOJ prosecutors and the FBI agents who have law degrees, can their law degrees be revoked for these false charges?
I have heard that there is an effort to disbar
That was nothing to disbar.
these people, and that to me seems like
A
a
logical
reasonable way to
response.
go.
There's
And
currently
then,
an effort to
yeah.
disbar Blanche.
Yeah, right. I mean, many of them, disbarment that seems
That's
to be
what
the
I,
remedy.
just in the
But
last few
I'm-
weeks, I was
yeah.
thinking, why can't they be disbarred?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
In the instance,
Now, you'll notice, by the way, that there are some judges are beginning to say, I don't want to hear arguments from the DOJ. They're dishonest. They lie. They make up things and have nothing to do with anything. And so the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is getting a bad name in front
Yes.
of judges around the country as well. So,
in the instance where Trump was suing the government, which he runs,
yeah.
Right.
those lawyers are in the process of getting disbarred.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Well, that
because-
was
yeah.
no, that was
Trump
during
suing the IRS, which he runs.
Right.
Yes, but that was concerning the slush fund money,
That is.
and that
what
was
you mean.
Todd Branch, and he was representing the Department of Justice and representing his client
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump,
Trump.
and negotiated both sides of that settlement.
Right.
And then there was
And
a
the
$10 billion suit against the IRS, which
Right.
Trump, because they released his tax
Right.
returns.
But he settled that, saying that Trump settled this, and the judge is still trying to understand, if you have a settlement, you're still supposed to bring it before the judge, so the judge can look at it and see if it's been properly executed and the settlement was just. Blanche just did a settlement as a representative that gave Donald Trump, his family, all his business entities complete immunity
From tax.
from investigation,
Past and present
past and present actions.
and future.
Did that go through?
Yep.
You know what?
Well,
I was going to
yeah.
ask that. Has anybody heard what the outcome of that
Good.
is?
Yep.
The latest thing the judge is asking, because Blanche said that they're withdrawing all of it and they're not going to act on it, but when he was asking, when he was being interviewed in Congress, he said, I don't need to put it in writing. I'm saying it here, it's on record. However, the judge has said, we want it in writing, and they went back to the judge and they said, why do we have to put it in writing? And so it hasn't gone any further than that. I haven't heard the judge come back and say, to force that. But
Because
she,
Trump
think-
is
judge
still
does want
spouting
it
that
in
it's
writing
gonna
that
be
they will
good,
not.
and nobody trusts
I
it.
thought the judge gave him a deadline to come back.
Right,
with
so
it.
that's
Yeah,
what we're
yeah, I
waiting.
think so,
The-
yeah.
The judge
Yeah.
does
Once it's in
want
writing,
something
it's
in
a legal
writing.
document.
Yeah,
Right.
because otherwise he's just lying.
Right.
and
And
They don't wanna do it.
Because before Congress, when he was testifying,
Yeah.
he said, well, if I'm testifying, that's good enough.
No.
And they came back and said, you weren't sworn in. So you can say anything, because there's no chance of perjury.
And when do
But-
lawyers not want something in writing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
So why is he trying to get around it?
You learn not to put things in
And
writing.
that's why.
He knows he's lying.
Yes.
He's lying.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs
Why?
when you have a judge telling the federal government's Department of Justice, you're gonna have to give me that in writing because we have doubt about your integrity.
Aren't
Lots of
those the two judges that are handling the slush fund and the immunity? Weren't they the ones that got those amicus briefs from all of those?
Like 101
Really?
judges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're not paying, they're going by what there's, the law.
Their peers and
I think maybe we'll get somewhere.
Thank
with this.
goodness
I'm-
the judges in this country are
I'll push him
obeying the rule
And
of
most
law.
of them
So-
are
yeah.
super
Exactly.
conservative judges. Not
Yeah.
all of them, but a
The
lot of them
federal
are.
judges below the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even
below
the Supreme Court, I
Court.
think Gorse is starting to have second thoughts
Yeah,
about it.
we're seeing cracks, I
Yeah,
think.
we're seeing
yeah,
cracks in
we're seeing
the
cracks,
conservative
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So-
I know.
Certainly not
yeah.
a Leo,
Very slow
Leo
movement, yeah.
Thomas.
Very
No.
slow movement, I
No.
agree.
Yeah.
No, I've heard
But
more
then at
about
the same
impeaching.
time, they're
There's
reinstating-
more
Along those
evidence
lines, that
to
is
impeach,
one of the,
to impeach Clarence Thomas, yeah, but that's.
That is
other-
one of the
yeah.
bullet points on, I just mentioned earlier, the Democratic Socialists of America, they're having their triennial convention coming up in a couple of weeks. And they have a 12-point agenda for the next couple of years. And one of them is reforming of the federal judiciary. I mean, a lot of their stuff is pipe dreams anyway.
Yeah.
They want to disband the U.S. Senate and,
And-
they're pretty, they got some
Term
pretty
limits.
outrageous stuff on there and they got some smart stuff on there, so.
Yeah.
Term limits on these judges,
yeah.
not like.
That's what they're,
Yeah, I agree
But,
with that.
but see, most of that stuff will take a constitutional amendment, like the Supreme Court, it says, they serve while they're in good standing, I think is the term. So,
I think that it's
you
not
know,
gonna
you
be
you
difficult
have to,
if we
cha-
take
you have to change the
midterm.
Constitution. That's nothing that needs a constitutional amendment is gonna happen in any of our lifetimes.
Okay.
Okay, we're just too divided of a country. And the requirements for a constitutional amendment are so high that I doubt that we'll see a constitutional amendment for anything in our lifetimes.
As we know from the Constitution itself, how infrequent
Right,
it is
exactly,
amended.
yeah.
It was
And
meant to
this
be
is the
that way.
most divided we've been probably since the Civil
Yeah.
War. Certainly since the Vietnam War, we were pretty divided back
Yeah,
then, so,
and we'll never agree.
yeah.
I was to ask about reactions to yesterday's elections, but since Mark is here and this is his final appearance here, unless you want to appear from, well, Zoom you in from Washington.
Virtually.
Yeah, virtually.
Hey, virtually, we'll watch.
So originally, and again, when I do these things on a Sunday, the world changes by the time we get to Wednesday. But on Sunday, I posed the question about whether or not when DC Blocks, who says we're going to build a 20,000 square foot data center, then it becomes 100,000 square feet, or when Radiant, the division of Rayonier, says we're going to develop western part of Palm Coast, and we're going to provide tennis courts and swimming pools, and all of a sudden then changes their mind. When they look at the Palm Coast City Council, do they see, and I'll exempt Teresa Pontieri, but or do they look and they see 5 Barney Fifes from Mayberry RFD, who are we a bunch of country bumpkins who these corporations say we can pull anything off for the end of these people? I don't know. What's your assessment of how these big corporations are getting away with lying, murder, misrepresentation?
They're partnering with Tallahassee.
There it is.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, please watch Free for All Fridays. It's on YouTube. It's available. It's a morning radio from Flagler Radio, which is run by David Ayers.
WNCF.
And the comment of the 100,000 square foot was made on that radio station,
Right.
which confused people. And also, 2 weeks earlier, one of the Republican governor candidates, Brian Donald's had made the comment when asked about home rule, and the Radiant director was there. They got into a very clear partnership of your state knows better than your local elected officials, and they are and will continue to circumvent your voice, your elected officials, to believe what they think is the right thing for, I'll now say, this is a quote, the region. So Radiant said west expansion affects St. Johns County, Putnam County, the region. And in that case, they very aggressively lobby the state to circumvent regulations for growth, limitations of approval. We have a person that sits on the planning board, and I would love to hear his views on the dissection and removal of the empowerment of our local development for a lot of things. And this is a scary time because it doesn't matter who's sitting in Palm Coast or Flagler County elected officials. If the state of Florida and their House and Senate moves forward with what they think is best, you have no voice.
We should just dissolve the city of Palm Coast then.
Well,
Let's stay right.
but Brian Donalds flat out said in a Republican meeting that the only reason Palm Coast exists is because Tallahassee allows it. And I got Teresa Ponetary to agree to admit on the record that that conversation happened. So if you look back at SB 180, and there were 18 other
Senate bill, that's an error.
Right.
House of Representatives, State House of Representatives and Senate.
there were 18 other efforts to continue to remove home rule from local communities and hand it over to state.
Is this any different than what's happening at the national level? Because they're doing the same thing at national level, trying to take over state responsibility.
Right.
The voting system, for example.
Well, but
Right.
the problem is the court is going to come back and say that the federal government has no authority per the
Yeah, I expect that
Constitution.
what they're trying with the voting is going to fail.
Sure.
Does the Florida
Absolutely.
Constitution protect the local governments?
Well,
Does the
I think
Florida
today
state-
Donald Trump is signing a bill that went through the House and the Senate that restricts commercial companies from buying large sections of rental properties to maintain and hold the price of your home.
300 they're allowed to own 350 homes.
A little update for you
Yeah,
on
in the
that.
past hour, he literally.
That in the
I-
past
signed
hour,
it?
no,
He didn't sign
No.
it.
he's not going to sign it unless the Save America Act
Oh,
Yeah.
is
well,
passed.
again, that's just the game.
That's just a game that he's
But
trying to get.
that's a great example of your elected voices at the House and Senate level, whether it's nationally or locally,
Right.
not being heard
Right.
and being controlled.
Trickle down authority.
Exactly.
It's trickle down
Okay,
authority.
So-
if I could
that's-
interrupt, who represents us in the state legislature, the State House of Representatives?
Sam Greco.
Sam
and
Greco.
Leaks.
He's running, Leaks is not up for election
Right.
this cycle, but Sam Greco, and he's being opposed by
Susanna
Susanna
Pavel.
Pavel. Okay,
The
so
most-
you need
right.
to be aware of that.
And I will tell you personally, and I've talked to her, the most important election on the ballot in November is her seat. If you don't like what's happening, if you don't want them to set your water, if you want larger developments to come in with nobody's say, you have to change the complex of state
Tallahassee.
of
You
Tallahassee.
have to put a voice up there that's yours.
That's right.
And you know what Mark was saying, the planning board, the state has gotten with the developers, they've gotten them to agree to almost anything they want. And we have a list, there's like 12 things. And if the developer meets all of those, we, the planning board or the city council, cannot refuse to let them do what they want. So what we've been trying to do in the planning board is going through the land development code and finding some loophole other than those 12 that we can do to slow them down. The only problem is we've done it a couple of times, but the city council has overrode us. You know, why have a planning board? We might as well dissolve.
True.
You know, because we do all this work,
Yep.
and we're all volunteers, we don't get paid. But we make sure that we go by the land development code, and everything is on the up and up as far as we can do legally. But the city council, they've just been crazy. Hopefully this new one won't be as bad. Now,
Why is the city council not pushing back on home rule?
They they are.
well,
They
are.
actually are because they're powerless. Are you gonna sit? You get elected, Ken. You're now on the city council. You feel and you are representing Palm Coast, and yet you find what Mark is saying. Planning board doesn't have the authority to stop Walmart from going in on 100.
The city doesn't have.
The city doesn't have the
any power
authority to
stop
stop Walmart going to 100, and they're going to add 20,000 trip cycles to 100.
Yep.
So you have 90% of your constituent calling going, that's crazy, and they stand in front of you, they complain like we see, and the city council goes,
We can't
I can't do anything about it.
We already can't drive up and down that road during certain parts of the day. And
Wait,
there's only
wait.
like a couple ways to
It'll
get.
get worse. Wait, it'll get a lot worse.
And
Citations
There's
So-
a lot
will
of
be
our
very
problem
busy.
is the couple ways. When they were planning this, they should have put a couple more big streets going this
Oh,
way and
for
a
sure.
couple
Yeah.
more big streets going this way.
Well,
They are
it's-
planning on making a road going parallel to 100,
100?
Yeah.
They
Going-
should.
Behind.
going all the way to
Yeah.
Airport Road.
Behind
Right.
there, yeah.
And do you know why they're
Behind
doing
the-
that?
Yeah, but
It's
that's.
because 100's state road.
Yeah.
The side road could be either county or city, and we can afford at the city level to do it because the state has said they're 5 years out from doing anything through the TPO to
Oh,
fix 100.
Oh, listen, I've dealt with.
I know you
I've
have.
been on the TPO board, you know. 3
Tom-
years
Tom, what
is-
TPO,
is-
transportation,
Yeah, what is
Yes.
TPO?
TPO is the transportation.
Transportation Planning Organization.
Right.
Okay.
We got it's called Flagler and Blues.
Right.
now.
And then Ty Miller is on that board now and flat out tells when he does reports, there's no money for the state to do anything with 100 right now.
No.
There is no
So-
violation of environmental impact for this.
Not in Florida.
Nope.
They don't
No,
even
because-
have those studies. I've
Yeah.
never seen
be-
one environmental impact
Yeah.
study.
No, because
They
you
don't
live in
do
a
it.
state that says pretty
matter.
much you own the property, you can do what you want with it.
Wrong, do what you want.
But wait
We're
a
in
minute,
Florida.
hold it. I bought property and I ended up paying like $5,000 a turtle to move turtles because of the environment.
Right.
Turtles are
So you're
special.
telling me
How long ago was
this
that?
100,000 acres?
How long ago was that?
Oh,
Ten
it's
years.
Tortoise. It's
Yeah.
a tortoise and then a
Yeah.
turtle.
So, yeah,
There you
there
go.
yeah.
They're just a type of
Anyway.
frog.
So
Yeah.
Ken,
Like
why don't
toads
you
or
tell
frogs,
everybody
they're a type of frog.
what kind of donations and contributions you were able to make to the campaigns of the people who made the
I dealt
decision?
with that too.
As opposed to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for
and
tortoise.
by the way, even the city.
What's the difference between a turtle and a tortoise?
Water.
There is a difference, yeah,
No,
yeah.
the-
One is that
Tortoises are turtles. Tortoises are a type of turtle, like sea turtles is a type of turtle. Tortoises is a type of turtle.
Box
That is
turtle,
all-
soft
yeah.
shell
That
turtle.
is
the
all
tortoises are a
all-
land animal.
All,
Generally, yeah.
Another one is the saddleback.
yeah, yeah.
Going down the turtle.
Oh, yeah.
turtle hole
Oh, they're
now.
turtle knowledgeable.
Okay, I'm calling time out. We're not here to discuss tortoises. But we are here to discuss what power the city council has over Sam Greco. And then weigh that against the power that Radiant or what's the DC blocks, the data center and so on, what power do they have over Sam Greco?
Apparently,
None.
No, they got tons of money.
They
to
got tons of
go-
money,
yeah,
so they got tons of power.
By the way, what happens is there's limitations how much you can contribute to Sam Greco's campaign. So every one of the executives, all the vice presidents, all the secretaries, everybody, all give the maximum, and that way you hide the fact that the
Yeah.
company is going to. But what we have to influence Sam Greco and what these corporations have to influence Sam Greco, we don't stand a chance. Because
And Susanna Pavel has the receipts, and she does a really good job. If you listen to her talk, or you go to listen to her talk, that will talk about the exact time frame of when decisions are made in Tallahassee and when
The check's clear.
money is donated to various campaigns for reelection. And it's all about lobbying, and none of us have the ability to change the direction of what Rainier and Radiant,
And DC
that are
Blocks,
billion-dollar company, and DC Blocks or Walmart for that
yeah.
matter,
Good
to
ICI.
do it.
Yeah.
Ah, exactly.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
You
They
know?
just paid off the
Nora
city council recently.
Husseini was in the, yep.
So anyway,
So in the end, it's money in politics, and we don't have.
In the beginning
we,
and
we
in
don't
the end.
have.
It's
Yeah,
capitalism.
yeah.
Circle, in the beginning and in the end. You
Yeah.
can go chase your tail, but it starts with the money and ends
Ends with the money.
That's why we
So
follow the
it
money.
is
And since we, the common people, don't have the kind of money that these big corporations have, we lose. Do we have to provide? They build 20,000 homes. Do we have to provide them with water? Do we have to provide
Possibly.
them with wastewater
utilities
treatment?
and all, possibly.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
if you were the builder, would you want someone else to shoulder that money?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you
Well,
surprised?
not even that. They have to hook up to our water,
Oh.
city water.
We got
And
no water to start
yeah,
with.
and if we say you can build all the houses you want since we have no power over you, but we're not going to supply you with water. But I presume they're going to make donations to the campaigns of the city council people also. And
So-
this was Carla Pontieri who was being sued or something about having taken money.
$5,000 from ICI and then voting in their
Yeah.
favor.
Right.
But you bring up an interesting point, and Mark, in the last conversation in which the 38 acres next to BJ's, which the rumor is that a Walmart's going in there,
Yeah.
part of that offer, and I watched it, I don't think you were at that meeting. You were not at
I
that
was
meeting.
not there.
But Walmart offered to put in their own water processing system temporarily for a few years until Palm Coast water systems improved to the point that they would be able to successfully add their usage onto it. So that brings up a really interesting conversation about should the city at the development stage ask these builders to take on more of, well, you're going to impact 100, so we want a roundabout, or we want you to pay for a side road.
How it should
Sure.
be.
Because
Yeah.
those things have not been on many of the conversations that our city staff
Our
has
city's-
aggressively tried to
Listen,
protect the
I think our
builders.
city staff is in the pockets of the
Oh,
development.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all,
yeah,
and
I
bringing
would
up
agree.
the
They
double
got,
what
they,
their
the
rate
guy,
was.
Michael Hansen, gets up there and he's like a bulldog for the developer to get his plan through.
Right. Well, he's the one that reminds you all the time about the limitations.
Oh, yeah.
To the
Well,
decision.
He threatened the planning board one day, well, you know, if you vote no, you got to be able to back it up. Well, we voted no anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
you
But the
know.
point I'm making is the builder, knowing to get through, they are willing to do things, just like with the east section where the builder never mentioned donating the land recently. And then when it got to the city in the second reading, they said, oh, by the way, we've changed everything we're going to do. And if you allow us these 17 additional homes, we're going to donate all the land
Yeah.
and make it a sweetheart deal, of which the time it went, that had never been mentioned until the very last moment.
Yeah.
So can we force the
They had
builders?
two different readings.
I know.
One
Yeah.
to the planning board and then one to the city council. and both were lies, because we caught him in a lie at the planning board. In fact, I'm the one that caught him.
Drawing, right?
Teresa Pontieri caught Radiant in a lie and
Yeah.
says
You know.
you talked about these tennis courts and swimming pools, and then now you come back with a plan,
So-
has nothing of the sort.
So maybe those should go all the way back to the first step if they
Yeah.
throw a
Well,
landmine at the
Okay,
end.
the Walmart deal on 100, when the first time they came to the planning board, it wasn't a super center.
No, I know.
No.
I remember.
Of course
We
not.
talked about
Wow.
I remember the drawings.
Wait a second. Was, in their mind, was it a super center and they presented you with something
No,
smaller?
No, they did-
Or,
The building wasn't big
No,
enough.
they called it an anchor store in that
Anchor
38
store.
acres.
I would
with-
wonder whether 6 months before they came to the
Right.
planning board, they already had in mind to do a super center, but presented
Well-
you with the plans that were more reasonable.
I'm sure.
And more likely to pass.
Well, just
Yeah.
like with ICI on the East Hampton,
Yeah,
they never intended to build 58.
yeah.
Now, they were only able to build 58 because the city was kind enough to switch with them and
Yeah.
some
Renegotiated
land.
that
so-
deal, yeah.
So they could build 58.
Yeah.
So we already cut them a break, and it was a court order, a court thing.
From
that-
like
that
10 years ago.
58. So, but they never had a diagram for 58 homes. They had, and they lied.
Yeah.
They only had one for 71.
And they looked at the city council and said there are 5 Barney Fifes from Mayberry
That's
RFD.
exactly
And that's the.
But two of the people on the city council that voted in their favor took money from them.
Yeah, okay.
So
Good.
Even though she said she was sending it back, she still voted for
it
it.
didn't matter. She already voted, and she
Yeah,
already
yeah,
took it.
Yeah.
And it deposited it.
Well, the intent
To-
is to circumvent the whole process.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
goal out of Tallahassee is to make most of these development projects either too large, too critical, too something to where it's going to bypass all the things the little cities are doing because the builders are complaining about delay in time, delay in cost, legal fees. I'm sure that one lawyer's making a killing, whatever his name is.
You talking
He's
about
everywhere.
Tremento?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's everywhere all the
yeah,
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is the fate of a conservative state that we're looking at, and I don't see it changing.
Yeah, look, we have the best government that money can buy.
Is that where you're going to Seattle?
Yeah, yeah,
Getting away from here?
that may make a difference.
It's gone
So-
far the other way.
Yeah, the other way.
So
So
what
what,
about the property tax thing?
you know what,
The sheriff just
exactly.
came out and said it's a terrible idea
Yeah.
to take away.
Oh, okay,
Well, yeah,
so
he's
now you're
lose
talking
money.
about from Tallahassee, the idea that real estate taxes will be cut drastically, and in the end, we'll not have enough money for, what?
Sheriff's salary.
The sheriff's
School,
salary.
fire,
Sheriff.
Oh, that poor
Double
guy.
dipping budget.
Sheriff,
One
pay
from
sheriff's
Tallahassee
deputies,
and one
don't have to
from
look up there,
Palm
look at sheriff's deputies who ride around in cars, fire department, the ambulances, right, first responders and so on. They're not gonna, there's be no money for them. And, but that's,
And certainly not the 9 new deputies that he's asking for.
yeah.
They're gonna
Has-
discontinue all the
$14
social
million
services.
every year.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
right, like
right.
the
By way,
library.
The library will go
Got too
away.
much
Right.
Yeah,
Social
yes,
services.
absolutely.
Has anybody
This side?
noticed how many more sheriffs are out
Yes.
pulling and motorcycles are pulling
Yeah, yeah.
and they're parked in the middle of Palm Coast Parkway and all this?
Yeah.
Wonder why they're so visible?
Well, it's the end of the month, they gotta make their ticket quota.
No,
Yeah,
it's budget season
Yeah.
with the city. And if you listen to the presentation, Teresa and other city councils said to Sheriff Staley, what are we getting for this extra money? And now he's gonna show us. Because visibility
You know,
is,
there's a
everything. That's an old
solution to-
military
There's
tactic.
a solution to Sheriff
Show the
Staley
flag.
is over
Yeah.
budgeting us. Start our own police department.
Yeah.
No,
They keep
seriously.
saying
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they've done studies that it's not financially feasible.
But
Even,
that's not true.
Yeah, but even, what is his name? The one who was married to the one running for.
You would still have
talking
that.
about
You would
Manfred,
still have that
Manfred.
sheriff.
He
Yeah.
said it wasn't feasible
Yeah,
either.
yeah, yeah.
But this,
He-
this bring, how
and he's got
many,
no love for Sheriff Sterling, that's
Right.
No,
that's for sure.
but I-
But that,
how many people, homeowners, would vote for this property tax change.
I will.
Yeah, why?
You mean to eliminate it?
Yeah,
Why?
Oh.
It's not gonna affect everybody in
It's only gonna
town.
affect homestead.
Well, yeah, it's homesteaders and so on.
And they
But so
figured
if you
it up,
vote
it's
for
only
it,
gonna be about between $5 and $7 million loss.
when our firefighters want a meager
I know,
raise,
I
you're
know.
gonna vote against them?
That's gonna come out of our taxes anyway.
so,
Where-
not
what-
supposed-
Which taxes? It's not gonna be real estate taxes, there won't be enough money.
You know,
Where we buy stuff.
they
just
say it
like-
is.
By the way, that's a sales tax, go to
Yeah, they're gonna add to it.
12%, a
And
12%
so-
sales
sales
tax.
tax.
I'd rather pay the once a year, and I've got homestead over 65 and
Yeah.
handicap, so it's not that much.
Yeah.
So
But-
I'd
And,
rather
and I'm in the same boat.
I
I
just
said,
don't trust it.
I would not gain anything if they cut out property tax. I would not gain anything because I don't pay property tax anyway. But I'm gonna lose because I have to pay a higher sales tax.
Wait, why don't you pay property tax?
veteran.
I got 2 or 3 different things.
Okay.
Veterans.
Age,
Okay.
VA,
Yeah,
VA
me too.
disability.
Because renters think that they're immune, but their landlord's gotta pay, and so
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
they're
raise the
raising
rent.
it.
That's what,
Raise
that-
rent.
I thought you were renting,
No,
that's what, that's how you.
They sure
avoid
don't
it,
need
yeah.
it.
So this will blow your mind. Maybe you already know it. Yesterday, I go to the post office to put in a change of address. I'm moving. Did you know that there's a charge
Yeah,
through the
No,
post
get outta
office
here.
to do that
Oh,
now?
come
Sure.
on.
Yeah, it was like $250
yeah.
to,
That's-
That's
to
It's been that way for years.
know
I've
that.
changed my address many
No,
times
we
and
were-
never had that done. But
Less than 8 years it's been.
yeah, but see,
8 years ago, I didn't pay
that's
for
the kind of thing that you're gonna
They
see.
still had that. I retired from the post office in 2012 and we had it back then.
Yeah, I guess my point is, money is not the need is not gonna go away. Just because the source change,
Yeah,
it will change again.
yeah.
Whether it be higher sales tax,
It'll be sales tax.
which is a broad abuse of economics, unlike the property tax, which has a little bit of a balancing.
I have a question.
But there's
That-
not
Yeah, that is, sales taxes paid by poor people and rich people alike.
Yeah.
the same.
Poor people don't have expensive houses, so they pay less, and that's
In theory.
progressive tax, as opposed to the sales tax, which is regressive.
But I have a question about sales tax. Who decides how that money that's collected is distributed? I'm just curious. I don't know.
The state.
The state.
Yeah, it goes in the general fund.
So we still won't have any control over how the money's spent locally.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Going back to the home rule question.
We have given that away by electing
It's all
Republicans.
connected.
Pretty soon we'll be living in Pottersville. That's what I'm thinking.
It's the
Pottersville.
commoditization of government.
Yeah.
What is what they're
Sales
doing?
taxes
They're
split up.
commoditizing government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sales taxes split up between local and state authorities. So
Presently.
The local will get a good portion of it. The state will get their cut.
Presently.
Yeah.
Nothing's written in
And
stone.
apparently
Right.
nothing is
But-
written in stone because they keep changing the charter, right? Haven't we been
Right.
told that it's been moved around several times? Isn't that what the work they keep screaming? That, you know, she's tracked it back, so they changed it without anybody's notice and they just keep changing it to their will. And now suddenly it's official when things are going on the ballot. But for the last 10 years, they've been doing it on the.
Well, no, we had a charter in the last cycle ballot
Mhm.
that one passed and one failed. There was a charter amendment in the last ballot we
No
had.
matter what we do, the goalposts keep.
That was
getting
the
moved.
Yeah.
30,000,
Right.
30 million.
Yeah.
Right, giving them the
Cap.
opportunity cap, yeah, I remember.
So, local, got a question for you. So just recently, we had a city council race, unopposed. The individual won based on the charter guidelines. But it appears he can't be seated until November. What are your thoughts on that?
I think he should be seated right away because the seat that he's going into was appointed.
His seat.
If-
Was it-
if-
Was
if
his
like
seat to start
Sullivan-
out?
By the way,
if
let's-
Sullivan was
Yeah.
elected.
Let's give some background here about why there was a
Yeah.
vacancy and so on.
So
Okay.
in the last, go ahead,
Okay.
Mark, you
Ray
know it,
Stevens,
you lived this.
2 years ago, Ray Stevens was elected to District 3.
Right.
He got sick early on.
Early on.
And he felt it he didn't want to take advantage of the city by collecting a paycheck while he
he's-
wasn't able to function. So he resigned,
And
okay?
Good.
But a miracle happened, and he's healthier now than he was before. I mean, really is. I'm personal friends
He
with him.
truly thought he was gonna die.
You know,
I remember.
His wife was crying on my shoulder, you know? But, so anyway, in the process, they had people apply to fill his temporarily.
Per the
I was
charter.
one of them, and
Yeah.
I came real close to getting it. But,
Norris changed his vote to, for a
well,
bartender.
Pontieri and Norris
Wait a
voted
minute now,
for.
when did they hold an election?
No.
No,
Or
it
did they?
was.
He was
They
appointed
Yeah.
by
They
the
had
city
like
council.
12 people apply,
Right,
and they went through a process of elimination.
okay, so it was like an interview for a job.
Yeah.
You went
So,
before a board of 12 people.
Huh?
Did you
No,
go?
there were 12 applicants.
You had 12
They got-
applicants that went before the
The city
Five.
council.
City
city
council.
council.
Okay.
Four.
Now,
Yeah.
Teresa Pontieri and Mayor Norris were voting for me up until the second to last round. So then, it was down between, David Ferguson, Sullivan, and myself. And so they went, and David Ferguson got no votes. Sullivan got 2 votes. I got 1 vote, and Mayor Norris changed his, from voting for me to voted for Candy Stevens,
A bartender.
bartender.
Wow.
Don't ask me why.
Yeah,
I-
maybe we
she
don't
come
need
in?
to know.
Maybe you don't need to know. So anyway, that put Sullivan in the slot
All right.
Wow.
that Ray had, okay?
Is it
So
true
anyway-
that he asked Sullivan to resign and he said no?
Right,
Who did
yeah,
that?
Ray Stevens?
yeah,
I read
he
that,
did.
I read that he asked him to resign. I don't know if
Resign.
it's true. He asked him to resign so he
Well, I'll
can
find
step
out
forward
tomorrow,
now.
we're playing pool. So, but, I'll find out more about that tomorrow. But, you know, Ray really, under the circumstances, being that was an appointment to fill Ray's spot.
So he was appointed to fill the spot that he
So.
allegedly
No,
had.
no, he had been duly elected by default to get his seat back.
Okay.
Ray has.
Ray
Okay.
has.
Reyes.
So, in my opinion, Sullivan should stand down and Ray should retake his seat.
That he
But
already
that's
earned
not
once,
happening.
Right.
Twice.
They're holding it out. What's the reasoning for not seating him? if
Ask
he's
the
been
city
to-
council.
Yeah.
I guess the way he's.
They can
going
call a
about it,
special
he-
election.
Yeah. By the way,
No,
the charter
he
is,
already
the
is.
charter is unclear about replacement of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unclear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
somebody
he was
dies,
unopposed, he's automatically gets
resigns.
the job again,
Yeah, right.
And when does he take office? That's the,
November.
No, after the election.
yeah. And why would Sullivan not step down? That's what I'd like to know. What's the point?
He go, I don't know, who
Lo-
knows?
Loves the power, loves the
So-
He was
attention
only
and so on.
appointed, he was
Yeah,
never elected.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
he was
there's,
never
so
elected.
this is like a little loophole that had never occurred.
Never.
So nobody
That's a
had
fact.
ever thought,
Yeah.
well, in
Yeah.
the case of such and such, this is what we're gonna do.
Right, the charter is remarkably silent about replacing.
Yeah,
Not exactly.
No? Okay.
well,
So, just like when
Gambier?
Ray Stevens resigned,
'Cause he was
doesn't
sick.
matter what the issue was, or Kathy Hyder, or others in the past, when they choose to no longer be on the council, the charter kicks in, and there are certain elements of time frame in the proximity of an election coming up. That's one of the things that's going to be on your ballot in November to clarify. There's 3 ballot measures that are going to be on the ballot. In this case, and I've talked to multiple people, was by the face value of the charter, Dave, who is the sitting council member, doesn't matter how he got there, if he resigns, then that section of the charter kicks in that says the sitting council members would go through the same process that replaced Ray with Dave, that you participated in,
right.
to sit someone. And where it gets interesting is knowing Ray will have that seat in November at the beginning of it, and whether the city council should be proactive and say, hey, we know Ray will be in 4 months, whatever the time frame is. Let's go through the process, put Ray in now, because what is happening over the next 4 months in the city of Palm Coast? Mark? Budget conversation.
Yeah.
The budget has to be approved by September 1st. The city council members that are sitting will make the decision on Staley's budget and how we're, and what are we hearing from the mayor constantly about this new potential austerity
Budget.
and how others on the council are throwing mud at each other. The drama's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, would you rather have a sitting city council member who's going to be there for the next 2
Who
years?
was originally elected
Who was
by the
there
people.
that's going to decide the decision and then have to live with it? Or do you want a city council member who knows he won't be there after November 1st
So he can do anything
to
he wants.
deal with whatever?
Yeah, he'll
Right.
just
He
go
can
along
throw
with
it,
the
yeah,
flow.
he can just
So
throw
that's
in
it.
any kind of bomb he wants. He's not gonna be there to suffer the repercussions.
Nope.
So that's where the rub,
Yeah.
I believe the rub is,
Yeah.
in trying to do that.
But the rules are that whoever wins the primary goes on to seat themselves in November. So it just turned out that nobody opposed him.
Right.
But that's still, the rule is you're
Right.
seated in November.
Right.
Come on.
So you're partially right, because Mark Stancil is a perfect example of 3 people that were running in the last cycle, and the top 2, which he wasn't by 2 votes, didn't go to the general for the election in November. And that's how Ray Stevens was elected in November.
Right.
So the only reason Ray won the election is he ran unopposed. Or the next thing is if you run and you get 51% of the votes
Automatic.
of the
Right.
total amount of votes.
Yeah.
We
Like,
haven't even
neither have
gotten to
had-
the,
Well, that's
Primary.
we haven't even gotten to the
Yeah.
primary yet.
Right.
Yeah, right.
This is the filing date, so
Yeah.
he can't be seated until something official happens.
Well,
At least, I would say the,
No, he is officially,
No, so-
as
he's
an election.
officially, but then he has to be seated. And then
But,
the
but
rules
that's,
say.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They could seat him.
They
There's
have
no rule says they can't.
but they have to go through the resign and it takes
The
the
current
city,
occupant would
the
have to
current
resign.
city
Yeah.
council member would have to resign.
That's Dave
Let the
Sullivan.
process do its thing. All the council members agree that Ray is going to get it in November, so we'll just seat him early. It's not rocket science. It's just the question of who wants to have and why, the difference between one member over another.
Can the council request a resignation?
Sure, but
Sure,
he doesn't have to
but
take
He
it.
doesn't
Yeah.
have to take it.
No, absolutely
This is
not.
Dave Sullivan, I believe, right?
Yeah, who's has done a good job. He has served the county and the city for a long time. I throw no shade at Dave Sullivan and everything he's done. Not everything is for or against, and he's been a conservative the whole time. And I will tell you right now, the struggles this city has, the struggles this state has, is because of conservative decisions that we're all suffering. But you kind of understand why the state could care less about what happens with the city, because the city can't figure out how to get out of a bag. I mean, sadly,
There's something
that's
to that
what's
too.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
So we
anyway.
are a bunch of Barney Fifes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
No.
Anybody
Easier
that,
to
I will.
understand.
anybody that throws their hat in a race,
Yeah.
that wants to run for an office
no
and
question.
participate,
Right.
already is way ahead.
Right.
And thank you for Mark for doing that and other
So we
candidates.
could be a Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, right, okay. That works too, exactly.
Shazam.
So what's your reaction to the election results overnight?
I love it.
Good?
Yay, Mandami.
Yeah, okay. You,
He had
I
a good
think
night.
socialism, he, right, okay.
Did you hear
So-
that Trump saw who was winning the election on the Republican side and switched his endorsement to the person who won so that
Oh,
he could
really?
look good?
And have a winner, yeah. Was that Lander? In,
You know what,
in
I took
the
from the
congressional
whole thing
district just north of New York City.
how energized Democrats are.
Yeah.
And they're getting the non-party people, you know, are energized against the Republicans. And I think it's gonna look good in November.
I don't think they're energized against the Republicans as much as they're not happy with the direction the country's in and their pocketbook.
Right.
That's true.
I think
It's all
people.
about the economy.
Well, in the end-
Well, I actually
This
didn't
economy
say
is
they were
slapping people in
energized
the face.
against the
Yeah.
Republicans.
Right.
They were
Right.
energized, and then they're against the Republicans, but not energized against.
Trump came
Sorry.
out just the other day and was complaining to the various oil barons that they should let prices drop so that he
Right.
would look better.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like the Federal Reserve should lower interest
You're
rates.
rich enough, he said.
Yeah.
He's probably
So
mad
that-
because the guy he put in the Federal Reserve didn't do
Right,
it.
exactly. I'm sure he's not happy with
Yeah,
him, absolutely.
I don't think he could do that by himself anyway. I think
It's
he
a board of governors.
There's gotta be
Yeah,
a board that
exactly,
votes for it.
yeah.
It's the board that's.
And I said,
But the-
under what's going on in the economy right now, there's no way they can lower rates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be
Yeah.
a vote.
Did we
Yeah,
get
but
a
that- but
decision
Donald-
from Supreme Court about the
Birthrights yet?
Yeah, no,
Tomorrow.
birthright and the
Yeah.
governors
Oh, it's
being
coming.
able to fire
By the way,
somebody
yeah,
from
the-
Fed
It's
board?
coming. It'll be today or
session,
tomorrow.
the session ends on June 30th.
They-
And so
they
at the end of
release
the
those
session,
big
they need
ones on
to, and
Thursday.
I
they
think
heard
he's
the
expected
arguments,
to
yeah.
lose all three of the things that he's trying to
Yeah.
Yeah.
do. Birthright.
And his popularity is.
Right.
goes
But I'd like to
down.
point out something very interesting that I know Al is gonna love. Goldman lost
Yeah,
as the incumbent
yeah.
Democrat, which fell right in line with what David Hogue was pushing of how the Democratic Party needed to be more progressive,
Right.
socialist-driven, and looking at sitting
They need to
Democrats
ounce the-
and not stick with those.
The long-term
that didn't
Democrats
have
who don't do their
the
job,
issue.
get rid
Right,
of them.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
David Hall
that's
was doing.
the-
And so that was pretty powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Chucker,
Two major issues that we're facing are income inequality, and when are we gonna do something about that? And then the other thing, I don't know whether anybody's following the whole idea, the whole climate
The,
is starting to burn up.
Another,
whole- have you
another
seen-
bullet point-
Yes.
another
Have you
bullet
seen
point-
Europe?
yeah.
Another bullet point from Democratic Socialist America, that's an important agenda of theirs, is to seize all wealth and redistribute it. Okay? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I know, well, that's a plan.
Thank you,
That's a plan.
Thank you,
What did
Kathy.
Plato say? You get only a fourth. If you have a fourth more than what the town is, then it has to go back to the
They
city,
want to tax all wealth and redistribute it.
right?
This is something I said a couple years ago, and I tell my daughter this, I said, the wealth was created because trickle-down economics didn't work. That's supposed to be our money anyway. It didn't trickle down. It was supposed to trickle down. It didn't trickle down.
Trickle down.
Yeah. So last week we left off discussing the Gilded Age and what happened back then, and are we in a second Gilded Age?
Oh, yeah.
And what ended the first Gilded Age? And you said something
Herbert
about
Hoover.
what got rid of Orban and Hungary. Is
Teddy Roosevelt.
history repeating itself?
Won by a landslide in 28 and
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
killed by a landslide in 32.
Yeah.
And what happened in the middle?
The crash.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
where
And who
we're
just
headed.
recently said they didn't want to be
Realized that they had been
Herbert
tricked all along.
Yeah.
Trump.
That's exactly where we're
Yeah.
headed.
Yeah.
So
There's
we
very
should be
people
cheering for a
talking
stock
about
market
it,
crash.
but
Yeah,
you
I
can
agree.
find it if you look. And it's really, really scary because they're saying it's not going to be a recession. It will be something way worse. They won't use the word,
Yeah.
but.
No,
we'll
some
know
of
what
them
the
have
word
used
is.
it
So-
because about maybe 2-3 months ago, every economist was saying we're heading for the recession.
Oh, yeah.
Now
It's a depression.
it's
Depression,
depression.
yeah.
So the issue is not necessarily whether it's recession or depression, the issue is one of timing. When will that happen, before November or will it happen after November?
I think your first big indicator will be the stock market.
Yeah, there was, sir, I think the stock market's up today, but like yesterday, there was a big sell-off.
But it was
Yeah.
still about
I think it's very,
Yeah.
I think it's very close to a historical top.
Yeah.
I use something called Elliott wave analysis that projects very long-term cycles,
Yeah.
okay? And, I think it's very close to a historical place, and it is of the size usually associated with collapse of empires.
Yeah.
Well,
Take that for what it's worth.
and that's what,
Take that for what it's worth.
are we, looking back at the Gilded Age, or is there something in history? We know, of course, history repeats itself, but people pay no attention to history and don't learn and study history. But do we have historical precedent to the situation that we find ourselves in right now?
Yes.
Well, technically, the problem with us going into depression isn't the fact that we're going to go into it. That we don't have an administration or a government that's looking towards the survivability of its citizens through the depression.
They don't care about
Because
Right.
even though we went into the depression, the government was doing everything it could to ease the worries and take care of the
Give people
economy
jobs.
and get people jobs. I mean,
Not
wasn't-
until Roosevelt came
But-
in.
but yes,
But
Yeah.
before Roosevelt came in, we were drowning.
exactly. But
yeah.
but
And-
what was he doing when he came in?
Oh,
Finding
fixing
jobs.
everything.
Yeah.
We developed the interstate. We were just going. We were
And it
doing
was him.
anything. To,
He was
we were-
spending money that the country did not have.
Yes.
Well,
That's
no,
the
but
whole idea.
Hoover left with
They
tons of
pull us
money in the
out.
bank. Yeah, we had a positive cash flow when Hoover left, but now he's taking money out of the economy and letting us sit in the treasury, is my
But-
understanding.
But
Yeah.
but the mindset was to help the masses,
Yeah, right.
which we don't
Well,
have now.
and that's the issue of the Gilded Age. Do the oligarchs, these wealthy individuals,
We do have-
control
we do have
things,
the wealth
or?
to do that.
There's one other point with that, same thing as then. We're like on the verge of World War III, and hopefully we cannot be there. But what's happened is our military, our resources have been depleted very much, and that's exactly what was going on in the Depression, when the Depression started. But Roosevelt had enough sense to get all of the auto industries and all the other commercial things working on making more arms, but who's gonna do that now?
No.
But I've been saying, what I'm seeing in this country is very poor quality leadership in all parts of society, in government, in military, in corporations, very poor leadership everywhere.
Although corporations seem to be doing okay, don't they?
Profit-wise,
They're
Yeah,
doing okay.
yeah.
As
but
capitalists,
the
they're
expensive
doing
ones-
Is that the
they're
what
not
they're
doing
measuring?
okay for
Yeah.
society, they're doing
Yeah.
okay for the.
For themselves,
Yeah.
guys.
About the
That's
money
a-
for them, they don't really care about the rest
So
of
what's
it.
gonna happen to the stock market that everybody seems to think that is the gauge of our success?
Right.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
just like
So-
19
No,
September,
that-
September,
that-
September
that-
1920, September and October of
Yeah.
1929.
That's
We'll-
normally the first
yeah.
indicator of something bigger happening.
There just was
It's
a bill
coming.
just recently to have the Senate and Congress not be able to accept stock
Insider trading.
market trades
Yeah.
and/or crypto,
By the,
and the Republicans vetoed it.
yeah,
Of course they would.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
By the-
back, hi.
By the way, that did exist before, and on a motion by, and I was represented by him at the time, living in Richmond, Virginia, Eric Cantor, they did away with the insider trading, that Congress people can, get the news early, buy the stock, dump it, take a profit at it, yeah. Sue.
Last week was the biggest influx of margin debt. Margin debt is
Yeah, that's
where you borrow money to buy stocks.
The
Okay?
worst
The
thing you
biggest
can do.
influx of margin debt in history, and it surpassed $2 trillion for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So
Sue.
that's debt.
I can't
somebody's
believe
gonna
people are
owe
doing
if the
that.
stock market crashes.
Sue, even though you're out there in left field or right field, you should be coming, yeah. We all want you
Has
out there.
anybody seen the ad? I think it's for a guy named Strada. He's
Yes.
running for
Yes,
something at the
yeah.
state level,
Repeat what she said.
and vote for him.
Hmm.
So he will help Trump train his swamp, and he'll help Trump ban insider trade.
Good luck.
Is that the swamp?
What did she say?
But, what did who say? Sue?
Yeah, Mike-
Oh, is she not on the mic? Oh, okay. So there's a new ad out for somebody running, presumably the primary is it a seat in Congress? It is a congressional by the name of Estrada. Is a plumbing
Yes.
contractor, and that he is going to first of all he's going to help Trump stop insider trading, and he's identifying with Trump. Ban insider trading by Congress people.
Except for
Yeah, well, he needs the money to build a ballroom so he can throw parties to which none of us will be invited. My question is, and we all have our unique point of view, and we all have a group point of view as well, is associating with Trump, and Randy Fine is spectacular as does saying Trump is endorsing me, is that going to be a good thing for Republicans in November? Or I'm beginning to wonder whether
There's a lot
that's
of cracks. There's a lot of cracks in who he's been endorsing.
yeah.
He had a breakfast or a lunch with Republicans. When was that? Yesterday or today?
Today.
Yeah.
Do we have any news on that?
No, that was supposed to
Depends on where
be,
you get your news.
It's signing.
Well,
that was
too.
to
If
be
you're
the
a Fox
signing, but that was
person,
called
yeah.
off.
No, you're talking about a local one. Are you talking about local or
He was in Washington. He was.
Yeah,
They were gonna-
he's having lunch with with Republican senators,
Right.
who are not falling in line because they all don't vote for the SAVE Act, that is to show that you're a citizen before you vote, which of course will disenfranchise women whose names changed when they got married, and so he will not sign. And this is an issue. Affordability could be helped by the housing bill, but he is not going to sign the housing bill unless, and that's what he's telling the senators at this luncheon, is you need to pass the Save America bill. And once again, there is no evidence at all of the voter fraud, kind of voter fraud that Save America is going to take care of, any more than there's evidence that anybody vandalized the reflecting pool to come
His
back
new
to full
director
circuit.
of intelligence will find it
Yeah.
as soon as he gets.
And that's his job.
Right.
That's
Well,
his job is
that's
to
fine.
yeah,
Even the
yeah.
Heritage Foundation found .0000000
7.7, I think. I'll say, percent.
seven
Yeah,
something.
like-
So
yeah.
percent.
There are so
in
many other,
20-something years.
there are so many problems but to focus on this issue of the ballot. And once again, we've seen judicial candidates come before the Senate, and I urge you to ask even local people when you go to, where there are Republican candidates, when you go to town halls and candidate events, please ask them who won the 2020 election. Yeah, because that's exactly the answer. Because I have done that at local
Joe Biden was
events,
confirmed.
and I have asked Republicans. I read it out on a card, and they asked the question, "Who won the 2020 election?" and can give them the answer. Better than that. So hopefully, associating with Trump will be a negative, not a positive. At any rate, we have a lot more to discuss. We'll continue it next week. We'll say a fond farewell to Mark and safe travels.
Thank you so much for your
Keep in touch,
contribution.
yes, for all that you've done, and your
got a
seat
card?
will remain unfulfilled.
You got a card?
I don't.
But your
But
email
I'll
address
get
will
you-
say the same, right?
Yeah, no, nothing's
Webman 57?
changing.
Yeah, okay, sounds
In
good.
fact, I went today to the elector's office and filled out the proper documents to have my primary ballot mailed to my mother-in-law's address.
Huh.
Then I can still be able to at least vote in the primary, because I don't have any intention on quickly registering or doing anything where I'm moving to, so I'll be able to participate in
Right.
that. And,
Sounds good.
you know, as a reminder, you live in the state of Florida, they've already passed the SAVE Act for this state.
For the state.
99% of it
Yeah.
is already effectively here.
That's part of
now.
DeSantis's efforts to curry favor so that Trump will appoint him to the Supreme Court.
Right. But I want to say, all of
Oh,
you,
God.
all of
In
you are,
DeSantis' mind is the only place where we're dealing with him. Yes, it's not like that, but in his mind,
Do you think
he-
Alito will retire so Trump can appoint
after
somebody
the
Maybe.
election.
maybe,
after?
I don't think Trump really likes DeSantis, although.
No.
But I want to thank all of you,
And DeSantis is
especially
kissing
Meryl,
his ass.
and Dave, and Mark, and our producer,
Yeah.
for hopefully empowering others
Suncoast Media.
to take a moment and to consider you have a vote. Never give it away, never not use it. It's the only choice we have. Even if you feel it's worthless, it never is worthless.
Yeah.
No.
Good luck.
Yeah.
He knows
Yes,
for sure.
thank
He
you.
lost by
Thank you,
2.
everyone.
votes,
See you
absolutely.
next week.
Wow, that's painful.
Yeah,
It is.
and that's
Yeah.
among our many jobs is